Manchester United are at a crossroads. That is not an exaggeration. That is simply the reality of where this football club stands right now. A new manager is coming in, a transfer window is opening, and several of the biggest decisions of the modern era at this club must be made in the next few weeks. The pressure is real. The stakes are enormous. And the details coming out right now suggest that the people running this club know exactly what is required. Michael Carrick is set to be confirmed as the permanent head coach. That process is already underway. And the moment that confirmation lands, the planning for the next season begins in full. What happens between now and the start of pre-season could genuinely change the trajectory of Manchester United for the better, or make things significantly worse. The evidence right now suggests there is a clear plan forming. But plans mean nothing unless you execute them. And Manchester United have a history of falling short at precisely the moment when execution matters most. Let us break it all down. Before we go deeper, it is important that you understand what is at risk here. Manchester United are not just making transfer decisions, they are making identity decisions. The players they bring in, the players they keep, and the players they allow to leave will all tell us who this club is trying to become. The midfield situation alone could cost Manchester United tens of millions of pounds and years of progress if they get it wrong again. The right-back position has a major decision attached to it. The goalkeeper situation is unresolved, and the future of several first-team players is genuinely unclear. If you want deeper analysis on stories like this, covering every angle with care and precision, then please hit that subscribe button right now. This channel exists to give you the full picture on Manchester United, not just the headlines. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you will never miss a breakdown like this one. Now let us go through everything. Marcus Rashford and Barcelona. Let us start with the story that has been building for some time now. Marcus Rashford is currently on loan at Barcelona. And right now, Barcelona manager Hansi Flick has made his position on Rashford very clear. Flick has told Rashford directly that he counts on him for next season and that he would like the winger to stay. Those words carry significant weight. A manager personally telling a player he wants him is not a small thing. It sends a message to the player, to the club, and to the market. Going further, Flick has also formally informed the Barcelona club that he wants to keep Rashford beyond this season. He is satisfied with the performances. That means Rashford has done enough on loan to earn the backing of his head coach. Now here is the critical point. Manchester United will not accept another loan arrangement. That decision has been made. If Barcelona want Rashford, they must buy him permanently. That is the firm position coming from the United side. And now comes the number. Barcelona are reportedly prepared to pay 30 million euros to sign Marcus Rashford on a permanent basis. That is the figure being put forward. The reasoning from Barcelona is straightforward. They believe they will not find another player of his quality available at that price in the current market. My analysis on this situation: this is a fascinating position for Manchester United to find themselves in. Rashford is not in the plans at Old Trafford. That much has been clear for some time. The loan to Barcelona was always likely to become something more permanent. But the figure of 30 million euros deserves serious thought. In today's transfer market, 30 million euros for a player of Rashford's profile, his age, his previous performance level, and his ability to perform in a top European league is a relatively modest figure. United need to decide whether they accept that valuation and move on cleanly, or whether they hold out for more. The fact that United have drawn a clear line on not accepting another loan suggests they want this resolved. €30 million offer from Barcelona may well be the starting point of a negotiation rather than the final number, but the direction of travel is becoming very clear. Rashford's Manchester United career appears to be heading toward a permanent end. Bruno Fernandes, the captain, speaks. Now let us talk about Bruno Fernandes, because there have been several important things said by the captain in recent days, and each one of them tells us something meaningful. First, Michael Carrick was asked about Fernandes, and what Carrick said was revealing in its warmth and its honesty. Carrick acknowledged what everyone can see with their own eyes, that Fernandes is creative and consistent. But then Carrick added something more personal. He said that it is also about how Fernandes lives his life. The manager said they try to give him a day off, and every day he comes in. He said Fernandes is always at breakfast before him, eating scrambled eggs before the manager even arrives. My analysis: that quote from Carrick tells you everything you need to know about why Fernandes commands the respect he has at this club. It is not just about talent. It is about professionalism. It is about the example he sets every single day. When your manager is saying things like that publicly, it means you have genuinely earned his trust at the deepest level. Now let us hear from Fernandes himself. Fernandes was asked about the Ballon d'Or and whether it is something he thinks about. His answer was direct and composed. He said his goal has always been to win collective trophies. He said when you receive individual awards, it is always an honor and a privilege because it means you are doing good work, but he does not think about it because it is not up to him to decide. My analysis, that is a captain's answer. There is no arrogance in it. There is no false modesty either. It is a grounded, intelligent response from someone who understands his role. When your captain speaks like that publicly, it sets the right tone across the entire squad. Fernandes also addressed Roy Keane's criticism of him regarding his pursuit of the Premier League assist record. He said it is not something he will ever chase. He said people can have different opinions about him, but they cannot say he is not someone who looks to help the team and tries to make the team the most successful one. He added that he will always try to win trophies and not individual accolades. My analysis. This response to Keane was measured and confident. Fernandes did not attack Keane. He did not dismiss the criticism either. He simply stated his own values clearly. That kind of composure under public scrutiny is a sign of mental strength, and it is exactly what you want from your captain and your best player. Fernandes also spoke about how things have felt under Carrick. He said he and the boss spoke before taking over, and they said they could play better, and they wanted to play better. He acknowledged they did not achieve the level they want to have, but since Carrick came in, the results show they were one of the best teams in the Premier League. My analysis. That is a significant admission from Fernandes. He is not pretending that everything was perfect before Carrick arrived. He is being honest about where the team fell short. But he is also crediting the improvement in results since Carrick took over. The honesty combined with that acknowledgement of progress is a very healthy dynamic between a captain and a manager. And finally, on the player front, Fernandes was asked about Bryan Mbeumo. He said Mbeumo does not need to be forgiven. He said Mbeumo scored a lot of goals at the start of the season before going through some difficulties, but the team always had confidence in him. My analysis. That quote from Fernandes about Mbeumo is important because it shows squad unity. When your captain publicly defends a teammate who has struggled, it sends a message to the whole dressing room that no one is being abandoned. That kind of culture is what separates good squads from great ones. Elliot Anderson and the midfield priority. Now let us get into what is arguably the most important transfer story for Manchester United this summer, the midfield. And the name at the top of the list is Elliot Anderson. Here is the situation as it stands. Anderson is Manchester United's top transfer target this summer. He plays for Nottingham Forest. He is 23 years old. And on Sunday afternoon, Anderson starred at Old Trafford as Manchester United beat Nottingham Forest 3-2. He produced 2 assists in that game, despite ending up on the losing side. That performance was watched by the very people trying to sign him, and it only reinforced why United want him so badly. Now, here is the obstacle. Nottingham Forest have valued Anderson at £125 million. That is a significant number. And beyond the price, there is a second complication. Manchester City are also interested in signing Anderson. My analysis. This is one of the most important decisions Manchester United will make this summer. And the history here matters enormously. The reality for this club is that they have been in this exact position before and they walked away. They came close to signing Jude Bellingham under a previous manager. Bellingham chose Borussia Dortmund instead, developed into one of the best players in the world, and is now a superstar at Real Madrid. Manchester United missed him. They also came close to signing Declan Rice from West Ham. His asking price at the time was £100 million. That was judged to be too much by the people running the club at the time. Rice ended up at Arsenal and is now a Premier League champion, competing for the Player of the Year award. Manchester United missed him. As recently as 2024, United wanted to sign João Neves. Again, the asking price was judged too high. Just weeks later, Neves completed a £66 million move to Paris Saint-Germain. He is now considered one of the best midfielders in the world, and his value has increased dramatically. Manchester United missed him 3 times. 3 world-class midfielders. 3 times the club walked away because of the price. And 3 times those players went on to justify every single penny of their valuation at other clubs. The evidence is now overwhelming. If Manchester United walk away from Elliot Anderson because of the £125 million asking price, they risk making the same mistake a 4th time. And this time, the alternative is not just losing the player to a rival club. The alternative could be losing him to Manchester City, a direct rival, a team already competing at the top of the league. The current transfer market is at a level where £125 million, while an enormous fee, is not out of reach for a club of Manchester United's size. The biggest transfer in club history currently stands at £89 million for Paul Pogba. That figure has already been surpassed by their Big Six rivals multiple times over. If Manchester United want a challenge for the title, and if they are serious about the rebuild under Carrick, they must be willing to spend at the level the market demands. Anderson is the top target, the price is steep, but the cost of missing out again could be far greater. Diogo Dalot and the contract situation. Now let us move to a situation that is slightly different in nature, but equally important. Diogo Dalot and his contract. Here is where things stand. Michael Carrick has made it clear to the club that he values Dalot as an integral part of the first-team squad. Carrick does not want to see Dalot sold. He has made that position known to the people making decisions at the club. The club, in response, is reportedly increasingly open to discussing an improved long-term deal for Dalot, who is 27 years old. There are currently 2 years remaining on his contract. The reason this situation has become urgent is that there is significant outside interest in Dalot. Real Madrid had been ready to bid £50 million for the fullback in late 2024. And with Jose Mourinho now back at Real Madrid, that interest could be reignited. Beyond Madrid, Bayern Munich and Barcelona are also reportedly showing interest. Dalot has been with Manchester United for 8 years, having signed as a teenager under Mourinho back in 2018. He has grown from an inexperienced young player into a squad leader and a role model behind the scenes. My analysis: the Dalot situation is one where the club needs to act with clarity and speed. If Carrick has made it clear he wants to keep him, and if the club agrees with that assessment, then the best thing they can do is remove the uncertainty by offering a new deal as quickly as possible. 2 years remaining on a contract is not a comfortable position when you have Real Madrid, Bayern Munich and Barcelona circling. The fact that Dalot has been at the club for 8 years also matters. Players like that carry institutional knowledge, cultural understanding, and a connection to the club that younger or newer signings simply cannot replicate immediately. His value to the squad goes beyond statistics. If he is sold, it creates another gap to fill, and filling gaps in this market costs money. Keeping Dalot on improved terms is likely the more efficient solution, and Carrick clearly agrees. Other transfer developments. There are several other stories developing around Manchester United that deserve your attention. First, Manchester United are firmly in the race to sign Bassoumana Touré. He is a young player, and the club who currently hold his registration are open to a sale, but would demand a fee in the region of 30 to 40 million euros. United are expecting strong competition for his signature. My analysis: this is a rumour at this stage. Nothing is confirmed, but the interest is described as firm, which suggests this is a genuine target and not just exploratory contact. The fee range of 30 to 40 million euros is a relatively manageable figure for a young player with significant potential. Second, Manchester United are reportedly competing to sign Alessandro Bastoni, the Inter Milan defender. The situation here involves Barcelona's manager Hansi Flick, who is reportedly not fully convinced by Bastoni's profile for the Barcelona system. That uncertainty from Barcelona may open a door for United. My analysis: this is also a rumour. It should be treated as such. But the logic is interesting. If Barcelona step back from Bastoni, United could potentially move more aggressively. Bastoni is a highly regarded centre-back at the highest level of European football. His availability, if real, would represent a significant opportunity. Third, Juventus are reportedly keeping tabs on Noussair Mazraoui ahead of the summer window. The reason cited is his limited game time under Carrick this season. My analysis: this one is worth watching closely. If Mazraoui has not been getting regular minutes under Carrick, that is a signal from the manager about where he sees the player in his plans. Juventus showing interest makes sense from their side. From Manchester United's perspective, if Mazraoui is not in the long-term plans, selling him could generate funds that can be reinvested elsewhere. Fourth, there is a significant development involving Casemiro. The information now available is that Inter Miami are closing in on a deal to sign Casemiro on a free transfer. The Brazilian has indicated he wants to join Inter Miami, and verbal terms are almost finalized. Miami are optimistic. They can complete the transfer while staying within the financial rules of Major League Soccer. Casemiro has reportedly made it clear to all interested parties, including Los Angeles Galaxy, that he has chosen Inter Miami. My analysis: this is described as a breaking development by a credible reporter. It appears Casemiro's time in European football is coming to an end. His departure from Manchester United to Major League Soccer on a free transfer closes a chapter. His spell at United was difficult in terms of results, but his move to Miami on those terms tells its own story about where his career stands right now. Fifth, Trabzonspor president Ertuğrul Doğan has publicly stated that the club want to extend Andre Onana's loan for another year. The president praised Onana for his excellent support in the development of younger players at the club. My analysis. This is an interesting situation. Onana is technically a Manchester United player on loan at Trabzonspor. The Turkish club want to keep him longer. What happens next will depend on what Manchester United's goalkeeping plans look like under Carrick. If United are planning to move on from Onana permanently, an extended loan could be a useful bridge. If they see a future for him at Old Trafford, they may decide differently. At this stage, this remains unresolved. Sixth, regarding Jarrod Bowen, Chelsea, Liverpool and Manchester United are all reportedly monitoring the West Ham attacker. The situation around West Ham is significant. If they suffer relegation from the Premier League, the club could be forced to generate upwards of £100 million. That financial pressure would potentially make Bowen available. My analysis, this is a monitoring situation, not a confirmed bid. United are one of 3 clubs watching this development. The key variable here is whether West Ham are relegated and whether that financial pressure forces them to sell. At this stage, this is speculative. But if the situation develops, United are positioned to move. Wayne Rooney in the title race. Finally, let us address something broader. Wayne Rooney has shared his thoughts on the Premier League landscape after Pep Guardiola's departure from Manchester City. Rooney believes the league will be wide open next season. His reasoning centres on the difficulty of replacing a manager of Guardiola's stature. He pointed to how difficult it was to replace Sir Alex Ferguson at Manchester United and how difficult it even was for Unai Emery when he went into Arsenal to replace Arsene Wenger. Rooney said the issue Manchester City will face is not just about replacing Guardiola as a coach, but about the respect he commanded and the influence he had in attracting players. He noted that next season you will have City with a new manager, Chelsea with a new manager, Manchester United and Liverpool potentially with a new manager. Rooney said he hopes Manchester United do well and get closer to the title. He described the Premier League next season as wide open. My analysis. Rooney's perspective is logical and grounded in real historical precedent. The examples he cites are valid. The transition periods at Manchester United after Ferguson and at Arsenal after Wenger were both genuinely turbulent. If Manchester City face a similar challenge, it does create an opportunity for other clubs. The key phrase in everything Rooney said is that the league will be wide open. That is only an opportunity if Manchester United are ready to compete. And whether they are ready to compete comes back to every decision being made right now. The Elliot Anderson transfer, the Dalot contract, the broader squad planning under Carrick. All of it connects to this single question. Can Manchester United be in a position to genuinely challenge next season? The window to act is not wide. It is not months away. It is now. And the decisions being made in the coming weeks will tell us everything about whether this club is truly ready to take that step. Let me bring this all together. Manchester United are in one of the most important moments of their recent history. The manager question is being resolved with Michael Carrick set to take permanent charge. The squad needs investment, and the club knows it. The top midfield target has been identified. The captain is focused, grounded, and leading from the front. Several contract and loan situations need to be addressed before the window opens. The most important thread running through all of this is the pattern around midfield transfers. Bellingham was missed, Rice was missed, Neves was missed. Each time the price felt too high, each time the player went on to prove his worth elsewhere. Elliot Anderson is now at the centre of that same decision. The £125 million valuation is not small, but the cost of being wrong again is not small either. Manchester United have an opportunity in front of them. Guardiola has left City. Several clubs are in transition. Wayne Rooney is right that the league could be wide open, but opportunities mean nothing without action. If you want to keep following this story as it develops, please subscribe to Adam United Analyst. Every major development around this club, every transfer update, every tactical question, and every decision that matters, we will cover it all here with the depth and seriousness it deserves. This is Adam. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.